What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Frequency 140 Movie Channel. I'm your host today, Benny Boy, and as you know, me and Sean are doing these tier lists for the big three. That means Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Friday the 13th. And then at the end of those, when we have those out, we actually have a big discussion on where we differed between our rankings and see what we got. And today's is none other than Nightmare on Elm Street, one of my favorite franchises of all time, one of my favorite movie villains of all time. It is just fantastic. So let's go ahead and get this started so it's not a 30-minute video because there's like 18 of these movies. All right, so as you can see, I got it divided into 5 different categories. The top tier being You're All My Children Now. The second tier being Welcome to Prime Time. Third tier, I'm Your Boyfriend Now, Nancy. Fourth tier, If the Food Don't Kill You, The Service Will. And then the last tier, the holy shit, we went off the rails tier, Welcome to My Nightmare. All right, so we're going to go on to the first film, which is an all-time classic. We all know where this is going. It's a Wes Craven masterpiece. The dude made so many of them, but this is certainly one of them. And introduces us to one of the greatest movie characters of all time, and Freddy Krueger, played by the amazing Robert Englund. And you get one of the best final girls of all time, and Nancy, played by Heather Langenkamp. The story is so original. It's so cool. I mean, a dream demon coming into your dreams, and if you die in your dream, you die in real life. And we got the glove, we got the hat, we got the sweater, we got every single thing under the sun in this movie. And if you haven't seen this movie, please go check it out. It's an absolute classic. There really ain't too much else that needs to be said about it. Just go and watch it. Now, we got part 2, Freddy's Revenge. Now, personally, for me, when I first saw it when I was about, I think, 12 or 13, I didn't quite get it. And the reason why I didn't quite get it is because the main character here, you were supposed to think he's liking this girl, but you kind of get this weird feeling he kind of likes the guy a little bit more. And, well, come to find out, years and years later, well, that was the point. It might be one of the first actual gay characters in a horror movie. So you're just not expecting that in a 1980s horror movie. Which, again, there's nothing wrong with it or anything. It was just it catches you a little off guard. But going on to the strong suits of all this, like years and years later, I'd rewatch it and I'd like it a lot more, actually. It's one of the better Nightmare sequels, for sure. And this is one of the scariest Freddy performances that we get from Robert Englund. I mean, he rips the head open and, the hip coming out of the pole saying, You're all my children now, which is the top tier. So, yeah, there's some iconic moments in this movie. Now, the thing that's kind of odd about it is that it doesn't tie in to anything from the first film. Like, you have no Heather Langenkamp, you don't have her dad, John Saxon. That's about it. I mean, like, the only tie-in to this movie from the first film is Freddy. So it's kind of like a weird separate adventure, because it doesn't really bleed into any of the sequels either. So it's just kind of its own standalone movie, which in a lot of ways is actually kind of cool. And with that being said, I'm going to put this in Welcome to Prime Time because I don't think it's the classic that the first one is, but it's a solid movie, and it's well worth your time to check out, for sure. Now we're getting on to part 3, man, and this is my favorite of the franchise. It is Dream Warriors. Man, God, the first time I saw this movie, I loved it. My favorite thing about it was the cast of kids and the idea that you could go into your dream, be what you wanted to be, and then try to fight Freddy as that thing. That was just such an awesome idea. And I think the reason why this works so well is that we actually got Wes Craven back writing about half the script, and it just works. And Robert Englund is so funny in this movie, but super dark at the same time. Like, this is kind of where we start to get that, with Freddy being pretty terrifying but funny at the same time. And then we get Heather Langenkamp back, who's actually trying to mentor these kids on how to beat Freddy. And we get more of the lore, the background of what Freddy actually was and is, with Amanda Kruger and the Bastard Sons of 10,000 Maniacs. And it's just a fantastic, fun 80s movie. Kind of like if, like Monster Squad and like the Goonies were in a rated R film, and it's fantastic. Also, one hell of a soundtrack, so please do yourself a favor and go check it out if you haven't seen it. Now, as great as that movie was and how much money it made at the box office, though, they shot this one out in about under a year. This would be The Dream Master. Man, I wish they would have took some more time with it. What they did was they shot the kill scenes first, and then they shot the story around it. It didn't really work too well because the story is just kind of all over the place, and plus you kill off the kids from 3 in like the first 5 minutes. And I know some people are probably going to get pissed out there because of a spoiler alert, but I mean, come on, man, this thing came out in the 80s. Again, it happens in like the first 5 minutes of the movie, so deal with it. Anyway, with part 4, to me, this is where we get like that MTV Freddy, where he's going too far in the comedy direction and not in the horror direction. And it's kind of more just where Freddy is just not scary anymore. And that's what we get here. And also, there's a lot of broken windows in this movie. I don't know if the prop guy like shit in the director's cereal or something, but that dude, he earned his money on this movie. There's at least 84 broken windows in this movie. And I can't imagine how many takes that had to take. But, all right. So with the ranking, man, I would say I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy, because it's not terrible, but when we get like the new kids that replace the kids from 3, they're not very good. They're not interesting. Like Alice is an okay final girl, but nowhere near what Sabrina Carpenter brought to it in part 3. All is so, and you can tell it's rushed. Even though, oddly enough, it would make the most money out of any Nightmare on Elm Street ever. Nightmare 4 is where we really start going downhill. And speaking of down the hill, you will find part 5, Dream Child. Now, this one had a really cool idea. I really like the idea of Freddy going into a baby to be reborn. But in execution-wise, it's a mess. And again, they did not learn their lesson from part 4. They shot all the kill scenes again first and then tried to build the story, but they didn't even do it as good as part 4, and part 4 wasn't that good, so yep, first entry into Welcome My Nightmare. There's really not too much great to say. I mean, the kill scene with the motorcycle was really cool. That's about it. After that happens, and I think it happens in the beginning of the movie, just turn it off. There ain't nothing else to see. Speaking of turn it off, here's the bottom of the hill. Freddy's dead. Going straight into Welcome to My Nightmare because this movie is absolutely god-awful. Like, the opening scene is Freddy on a broomstick reenacting the tornado scene from A Wizard of Oz. And he's like, I'm going to get your little dog too and all this other shit. And I'm like, oh my God. We get basically a Three Stooges version of Freddy here. He's too comically silly. I didn't like the story with Freddy's daughter. Why on earth did we need this? Did we really need to know the backstory of Freddy even more than we already do now? We already know he killed kids. He was a child murderer in Springwood. And yeah, I mean, like, this movie is a complete waste of time. So please stay away from it. And also, oh God, I forgot to even talk about this. The gimmick for this movie was that it was actually in 3D, and the spots that they choose to use that in, is particularly at the end, will just annoy the hell out of you. It's not as bad as Jaws 3D, but it's close. It's real close. But stay away from both of those movies. We watched them so you don't have to. Now, going on to a good movie. Wes Craven's back. He's in the director's chair again, and we are getting Wes Craven's New Nightmare, to where we kind of get like a precursor to what he's going to do with Scream here in a few years, to where all the original cast is back. Heather Langenkamp, John Saxon, of course, Robert Englund's back, but they're all playing themselves as if they're in the real world. A demon is taking on the personification of Freddy. And the new makeup looks great. I love what they did with the character. He's actually scary again. Like, they're really, he throws in like little one-liners, but it's marketed more towards a horror side of Freddy, which is good, especially after we got the mess that were the last 3 films. The only thing I could probably gripe about it is that there's only like 2 kill scenes, but they're all rehashes. So one takes place in a truck, similar to the motorcycle in 5. We do a redo of the girl going over the ceiling in the hospital. I don't know. That's the only gripe I would really put towards this movie. Also, it's a little long, but overall, man, this is a really good sequel to this franchise, and I'd highly, highly recommend it. And all right, so now we're on to Freddy vs. Jason. Now, and when Freddy's Dead was being made, New Line made an acquisition with Paramount to go get the Friday the 13th franchise because it was dead in the water too. And so they make Jason Goes to Hell. That was the first movie under New Line. And at the end of that, we get this teaser with Jason's mask on the ground, and then you see Freddy's glove come up and drag it down to hell, and you hear Freddy laughing, and that's the end. Well, the whole time during the 90s, we always heard that there was going to be a Freddy vs. Jason movie, and it just never happened. And I'm not exactly sure as to why it stayed in development hell for so many years, but we finally got it. I think it was 03, and holy shit, it was exactly what I wanted. And for that, I am putting it up at You're All My Children now, and I don't care what anybody has to say about it. Fight me. It's a fun movie. Don't go into this expecting like The Godfather or The Exorcist or Rocky or some, award-winning film. It's not going to be that. It was never going to be that. and just turn your brain off. It works. It's fun. I love how they bring Freddy and Jason together. At the beginning, you see Freddy in hell, and it goes kind of through what he's been through. And he's pretty much got all the kids in Elm Street. Well, now everybody on Elm Street's forgot about him. So now he has no power. Well, he finds Jason. He transforms into his mother, and then he gets Jason to go to Elm Street to make the kids of Elm Street think that Freddy's doing the killing, when actually it was Jason. And that idea, as simple and as kind of dumb as that is, works 1000% for me. I am sold. And then we get the fight scene at the end, and it's as gory and brutal as you would ever hope it would be between these two slashers. And then not only that, we didn't know it at the time, but this is the last performance of Robert Englund as Freddy on the big screen. And he did a great job, man. You can tell he's having a lot of fun, and the makeup's great. Like, I especially love the demon Freddy that jumps out of the lake. Like, Freddy is just a funny and evil guy. Like, they got the combination correct here, and I just loved it. Now we're going on to something I don't love. That is the remake. Boom. And the reason why I hate this movie so much is because of how much potential it could have had. Like, you could make a amazing Nightmare on Elm Street movie now. And it's sad because, like, Jackie Earle Haley really tries to put in a great performance here as Freddy. I like some of the things he does. Like, he does this little glove thing that was really cool, and it was kind of unique. But when you put him in this bad of a movie, it don't matter if he puts on the greatest performance of all time, it's going to be frowned upon. Through no fault of his own, really. In fact, I wouldn't mind if Jackie Earle Haley came back as Freddy. It's the rest of the movie that's the problem. Because we get this subplot, maybe Freddy was innocent. Maybe the parents overreacted, and maybe they got the wrong guy, which actually could have been really interesting had they had done it right. But then about like 50 minutes into the movie, they find all these pictures, and they're like, oh no, he actually did SA these little kids. Well, no shit, dude. What the hell did you think he was going to do? He was a child murderer, for God's sakes. We didn't even need to know that. I mean, it's never mentioned in any of the films. And then not only that, you kind of kill your anti-hero in a weird way. Because, I mean, a lot of the times, let's face it, I mean, a lot of people go to horror movies to watch Jason and Michael do their thing. But when you introduce something like that, you can't root for Freddy. You just can't. And it just makes it insanely uncomfortable. And not only that, the cast of kids in here are just boring and just off the wall and not interesting in any kind of a way or fashion. The young lady who plays Nancy, who's actually a pretty good actress, but just has went on record basically saying she didn't want to be in this movie. Well, then why did you audition? Why did you go there? I don't understand that. Like, she's obviously talented, but she might as well just not even be in the movie. And, oh, God, I mean, there's so many things. There's more things wrong, but I'm just going to save some of that for the discussion video. I'm going to go ahead and end this. Really hope you enjoyed this tier list. And so you don't miss Sean's and the discussion at the end of the week, please like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. You can get all of our content for just $3 a month at patreon.com/frequency140 podcast. And since I ain't got nobody to send it to, I guess I'll just steal the line from Mr. Bennett. Freaks, geeks, and nerds unite. Let's take over the world. Peace.